Hello everybody and welcome along to the WRC Creator Series Club, sponsored by EA Sports. It's Season 3, it's Round 7, the penultimate round, and it's the commentators round. So a little bit different makeup in the commentary booth today. It's me, Gareth Allen, joined alongside by Aerotech for the first time in the commentators booth. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad, Gareth. I'm actually excited to not be down there for once. This is a really tough rally. I ended up doing it last night. It is super tricky. It seems like it's going to be easier because these are slower cars, but very unforgiving, very narrow rally too.
We are racing in the Czech Republic, and it is going to be interesting to see who can do well here. He's Amusing, who leads the championship, of course, commentator normally most weeks. He's going to be on the broadcast and putting down the times at the same time as the other creators. Usually has that little bit of an advantage. He can go and trump everyone just after the session. So it'll be interesting to see how he does, after not watching all the stages through.
Yeah, I mean, I part of me wants to go, well, now he doesn't have a yardstick. He's got people to. He's the one that's being chased now. But as we found out in practice, he just set a world record by accident. I don't know how good you have to be as we check on with our normal commentator, TK, who's behind the wheel this time. He's got a no tree logo on the hood. Ladies and gentlemen, that hood's not going to be there that long. But yeah. Is it just going, me? A world record? Me, myself? So, yeah, keep an eye on that. I believe he's in the sport today. I think that is the car of choice. But M3 is still a good choice as well.
And TK... He spoke about how he was going to be crashing, and so far a good steady start. Looks quite focused, and he's putting his might into this one, isn't he?
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Again, this is anytime I lost any focus when I did this last night was when I was eating tree. So I mean, listen to the pace notes. The thing too is that because the cars are a little slower, they're not Rally 1 cars. Not to say that they're slow. You get lulled into kind of a false sense of security of, I could go a little bit faster than this next corner. And that's when mistakes happen. So just being careful and minimizing errors and stuff and just being clean, I think is going to get people towards the top of the leaderboard. As Jam now out on the course as well. Jam has had some good finishes. The only other Canadian, got somebody out here making me feel not so alone, but I think I think that is actually they're just going through their shakedown.
Yeah,
not wanting to use their tires.
Very chill. They're due to go in a minute's time, so I don't know if he's got the memo, but he's certainly just taking it very chill out there, not wanting to burn through the tires. And there was a lot of talk about tires.
So I don't notice the tire wear as much, but 2 stages in, the rear starts to kind of dance around a little bit more than normal, and then it really starts to snap. And if you're not ready for it, you'll as TK is already finding out the hard way. Again, you kind of have to respect the car a little bit. It's not these aren't cars that'll reward you for kind of yanking the steering and really being aggressive with the steering. You have to work with the car and the racetrack, TK, by God. But yeah, I mean, I'm only one man, but the tires are really. This is the only time I've seen tires get in the red all season. So really important stage to minimize tire slip, especially in the rear. The fronts might be okay, but once the rears start to go, these things are a handful.
Yeah, absolutely. So doing so okay here, TK. He was very nervous before coming onto this. Very nervous, as we're just getting a few issues with his stream. So we'll hop over to someone else who is over on this feed here. IRC. He's yet to go. So he's currently sitting in the waiting area to go. I think He's Amusing's out on stage, so he won't be able to give us his stream. But if we head over to back to TK, we'll go back to TK and we'll figure out what's going on with him.
Yeah, another thing too is that a lot of the longer stages are right off the rip. 10Ks, 15Ks, a lot of them are 7-8 minute stages. So it's really kind of hard to make a mistake and go, okay, I just got to get to that next stage so I can get to the service and fix the car when you've got another 7 to 8 minute stage coming up. So it's a lot of risk reward in these first 4 or 5 stages or so before you start getting into those 4 or 5 minute long stages. A lot of them are obviously not big ones, 20 minutes plus, but still long enough to have to consider, hey, like, I've got to carry this tire with
the gates, and he's ready to get going. Lovely little background on his camera as TK gets a little bit wide there, but here we go. Ancephalosis setting off on the first stage here And yeah, he's doing well. He's actually improved quite a lot on the streams, has Anton Velotis. He came in, he was a little bit shaky, but he's been consistently getting in that top 100 and putting in the times and just improving bit by bit every week as it goes by.
Yeah, what's crazy to me is I've kind of just been chit-chatting him back and forth the last couple weeks. He's only started really sim racing in February of this year, which is bananas to me. The guy is bad fast. He's super, super confident and has a ton of car control for somebody who's been doing it a whole lot less long than a lot of people in his skill level. So it's keep an eye on his space as well. Obviously, all these drivers are streaming. You can watch Encephalosis right now as well. He's only been getting faster every time he gets behind the wheel. It's kind of been amazing to watch.
Yeah, Jam on God. He's another person. I call him Jam on God. He likes that, I think.
I'm glad that you do too.
It's Jam on God, isn't it? Like, there's no doubt about it.
I read that way every time.
She complete the rally. Anyway, I think you had a bit of unfinished business with Greece last week, didn't you?
I did, yeah. We did it in Season 1, and it was rear-wheel drive. I believe it was H2 or whatever class is slower than this one. And me coming from a rear-wheel drive background, I prefer rear-wheel drive cars on the dirt. I was all stoked. I'm all excited. Hit one bank, went over, and DNF within the first minute. Not my best work, but much better. I much better time than the last time. And again, it's kind of over preparation too. Is something that's a real problem. You can practice, and you kind of set this expectation for yourself. And that extra weight on your shoulders hinders a lot more than it helps. But yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, but it's something that he can work with. And again, it's just finding what works for you in terms of a practice session. Some people, I'm sure, towards the top of the board, kind of get a quick run through the stages, go, cool, I'm ready. And then some people will spend hours and hours. So it's whatever just works for you, whatever you can get to be comfortable and fit your practicing style.
Apparently, it's completely frozen the stream. Please let us know if it is working. If it isn't, we're trying to fix these problems in the background as they arise. Something awry, but do give us a shout if you can't see anything. Oh, well, they won't give us a shout if you can't see anything, will they? So we'll just have to see how that goes, and maybe we'll have to do a quick stream reset if these problems persist. Hopefully, we can get out of it. Yes. Okay. I'm not quite sure where people are.
At times with these cars, because they're not 500 horsepower, you kind of get lulled onto a false sense of security of, okay, I've got lots of time. I can start pushing these 4s and these 3s, and then you push it straight. Where? TK, buddy. Skate's not out yet. Where are we going? Oh my God.
Well, he climbed that mountain. He got off it, and now he can continue rallying.
Climb every mountain, ford every stream, but unfortunately, this is a tarmac rally. I don't know if
wrong kind of ford,
yeah.
buddy. He must have a puncture.
Yeah.
Did you see how he span off there?
Yeah, you get some rear suspension damage too, and unfortunately, that's only going to make it worse for him in the next stage. Even if he in stage 3 as well, because even if he fixes that damage, you've already worked the rear tire in so much.
He did just fix the damage there, which is a bit of a wild move as the flying finish is just coming up around the corner now. So he's got, the finish right here. So 90 seconds took. Could he just not get it to the end there? He felt like he couldn't.
I mean that too, or like if he's already spun 2 or 3 times and had his little excursion in the field, so why not just, okay, we'll put a tire on it. Everyone's going into this with different goals too, and that's an awesome part of Creator Series that you see where he finishes 318th. Not the best start for TK, but he's got a lot of time to make up for it. But everyone's kind of got different goals in Creator Series, which makes it a lot of fun to race. You have people like Izza that are top of the game, right? Like top of the sim. They're insane. And then you've got a couple drivers that are very competent, but not quite to that level yet. And then some people that are just out having fun, too, just trying to finish rallies and do the best that they can. And they're kind of competing against themselves on the leaderboard, which is a blast. And there's so many drivers on that leaderboard that you could still participate in right now if you're watching this. This club is open to everybody, and you can set a time and see where you stack up against your best or your favorite EA WRC creators and the community.
Absolutely. Exclamation mark WRC in chat. That will give you a link. That will get us into our Discord, get you into the RaceNet. You can race along with the creators, and hopefully we have got on top of some of those stream issues now. I'm certainly not seeing as many disconnects on my end, so please let us know. Yell at us in the Twitch chat if things are still going wrong, because we'll go for a complete stream reset, throw the PC out the window, and hope that a laptop will work in its place. But here we are, IRC JPH on the left. He's a recent joiner to Creator Series Grid. He's been quite consistent again. He's quite fast, and I think just missing out on a podium a couple of rounds ago in the Creator standings, that is, at least. Of course, there is, of course, the RaceNet standings, which has a load of sweats in now, Aerotech, it must be said. And he's doing well here. Jam's just about to come around that difficult final hairpin. He does indeed navigate it well, and he's heading towards the flying finish. So let's see what time this can be from Jam.
Yeah, it's going to be a decent time from Jam there. I think somewhere in the mid 7 minutes.
If it goes to the right one. Completely missed it there.
Whoa! Buddy, we don't. They're unionized. We can't just do marshals like that. We're gonna. Are you gonna pay our legal fees, Jam? On God, sir.
Look at that, though.
Solid time from Jam there. Anywhere in the top 100, I think, on a Monday afternoon for Creator Series, you're doing something right. Again, we've got, I think, 200 or 300 drivers registered at least for the first stage. So if you are among that top 100, you are.
That's not good for Kamikaze. I was just thinking, how is Kamikaze doing? And he's in a difficult position there. I'm no expert of rally, but I'm pretty sure meant to have all 4 tires on the ground, and he's tired. He's retired. He's effectively beached his car. He can't get out of it, and that's a big L, isn't it?
And you could see it on his face too. He's kicking himself. I know he's done some practice. He's put some work in for this event too. Kamikaze, I've driven with in other sims as well. A super strong driver. Speaking of strong drivers, Limbar into one of the trickiest parts of the course. I talked about it a little bit earlier. There's a lot of pace notes that because these cars aren't WRC 1 pace, we go, oh, I could go a little bit faster. That set of 4s, that downhill set of 4s, is absolutely an area where you can leave it wide open 5th gear. And if you just get the cadence right and your tires can handle it, you can go full throttle through there. But again, you turn in a little bit late, turn in a little bit early, you catch any type of grass, especially when the rear tires are under load, it's game over. And you see it right there, Vlembar going a little bit wide, catching I believe the gutter on the outside, or the dip, or whatever you want to call it. And that's the thing with rear-wheel drive, is you'd have no, even on a tarmac, you have no wiggle room for mistakes when you start kind of excursioning off the racing surface.
Yep, and we can now indeed see Eyes Amusing. He had closed his video stream down, so at least that isn't one thing that's my fault tonight. That's nice to see. But Eyes Amusing in a very familiar place for him. He's absolute top of the RaceNet standings on that first stage. He's done a 7:01 compared to a 7:34 from Vlembar. So Vlembar must have made a few mistakes out there, because you don't expect that slow a time from him.
Yeah, that's not to take anything away from Jam, but I think Vlembar's in he's in the 70s, or no, he's still up in the 30s there. He got me by 1, the bugger. But yeah, no, Vlembar is usually towards that top 10, top 5. So that's kind of the difference between a really good driver in WRC, in WRC, and then top 1%, is they don't make mistakes. And every corner is optimized and done within 2 or 3 tenths of what's possible every single time. And that's why I think is not here, so we can actually give him the credit he deserves. He's too humble. Him and drivers like him are insane what they could do. And yes, they memorize the stages and know the stages pretty well, especially at this point in the game's life cycle. But to be able to do 6 or 7 minutes of driving, full focus, 100% while talking, and do it within, let's say 2 or 3% of what's possible, is incredible. That he could just sit in the seat and do this every single time. As these things looks like he's had some sort of issue. Not as bad as our resident feel good Dr. TK. The hood is trying to leave the hood is like your frames, just trying to leave the chat right now.
It is grasping on to life, isn't it? That every little bonnet strap keeping it down, and I think it'll be gone by the end of stage 2 that TK is now tackling. He's amusing, absolutely agree. He's really humble about everything he does. He's a fantastic commentator, love working with him, and the way he talks about his driving, you think he's going to be kind of one of the worst, but he slips in that he's one of the best, and that is absolutely me trying to jinx him today, because he does it to so many other people as he fizzles around with his Elgato signal. So we'll head over to TK.
I feel like we've got voodoo power today. I feel like all I have to do to make sure that I finish well is just give everybody who's fast compliments. We literally did it with Lembar. TK's setting the world record pace right now. Is his computer's blowing up? It's not a good day. Not a good day for the Creator Series family right now.
He hasn't got an Intel CPU in there again, has he? But TK, look how concentrated he is. Just
TK! Oh my God! Yeah, you really don't want to do what he just did. You're on a cliffside, and again, any sort of dirt there, especially if the car. Well, okay, well that's still better than going off the side of a cliff. But he's just going for it. I respect that. Again, I think there's a lot of people. I said it a little bit earlier that even within our broadcast, TK's just out there trying to do the best he can, and I love that. There's so many different goals and different things that people are accomplishing, and that's one of the best parts about rally as a motorsport, right? It's to see you against the clock. You are out there trying to beat what you think is a go. Okay, maybe we need to get him a brake sponsorship.
It's yeah, a little bit too little break there, and he's caught himself on a tree stump. There we are. Good little demonstration.
It wasn't in front of the car, to be fair, so the hood ornament worked. It's maybe he should have put it on the underneath. Again, skate's not out yet. I don't know why he's trying to do skateboard tricks.
Yeah, well, you know, credit off to him. He's trying to do something different, isn't he? And you can't complain about that. But yeah, I mean, TK, he's just throwing it in here. It's more reminiscent of what we saw at the start of the Creator Series. People turning up, throwing it in, very little practice, and spinning at least once every sector. So it's nice to have that throwback. And TK, of course, brilliant commentator. He's here week in, week out with the commentary. I don't think he's here next week because I think it's his birthday. But apart from that, you know, TK's brilliant at commentating. He doesn't need to be a quick driver. Not many people can do both like he's amusing.
No, it's so hard to do, especially in a rally setting. If you're more circuit racing, you have opportunity to memorize the track, breaking points, and have visual points. So, yeah, maybe you can hold the conversation with your chat or anybody else at the same time. But with rally, especially here, the pace rush is so important. So you have to be listening to information coming in while reading, while outputting information, while still driving. So that's a lot to micromanage, especially if you're just showing up and having some fun. So we're going to continue poking fun at TK, but I think the most important thing is that he's got a big smile on his face.
Which he does as he goes into another bush. But you know, he'll be pleased to know he's not the first person to retire on the rally. You know, he made it to stage 2. That can't be said about all of our competitors today.
And that's why they call him kamikaze. You know,
you went there. You said it.
Yeah, I mean, it's true though. I mean, I love the dude, all the respect in the world, but he's his own worst enemy sometimes, where he just tries to push, and it'll either work, and he's towards the front of the field, or it won't work, and we all finish our stage, and we go, how'd you do? He goes, well, I'll have a puncture, and do a barrel roll, hit a tree. So he's very McRae in his style of driving, of whether he's at the front of the field and has done something spectacular, or in a fireball in a field somewhere. And that's the risk you run.
Yeah, I mean, he first joined us at Valley Sweden, I think, round 2, all the way back in the start of the Creator Series journey. He'll, of course, be racing in Valley Sweden next time. And I was just watching his split times, and he was just throwing it into every corner, making a mockery of everyone. But yeah, as you say, that commitment can come at a cost. But yeah, here's Ease Amusing, here's TK. TK, there we are, the hairpins, and he just does not like the hairpins. I feel like every hairpin we've watched him do, he's ended up going backwards through them. It's not the most ideal, conventional line for a hairpin, but TK just really struggling with that. What is that, just locking up the rear brakes?
I think he's just like either going in too deep or falling into the trap of it's a hairpin and I'm in a rally car, I need to use the handbrake. Maybe on some of the tighter hairpins here, you kind of want to just pull it a little bit, but nothing where you want to lock the rear tires up. So I think might just be over a little bit excited with the rear handbrake. And now we talked about it a bit before. He carried damage in the last stage, and I'm sure he's still carrying some now. There's only so much the rear can hold in terms of weight and tire grip. So now that there's damage to the rear, even if it gets fixed, he won't be changing tires at this service stage, and they'll be worn. And the rear end gets so knife edge on these cars when the rear tires start to get worn in, even when they just start to get hot. So unfortunately, if you have issues and have a spin and do a big clutch dump and spin the rears to kind of get pointed forward, you're just going to be having a world of issues. Just Gem on God having an issue with the tree. And Not the worst thing that could happen. No big damage. Again, just a little kiss. Just his Canadian's coming out. It's fall. It's time for some maple syrup harvesting. Going down to the sugar shack, getting himself a taste. But not that bad. Again, it's a 9-stage rally. I think part of rally too, Gareth, is you kind of as a driver, you kind of have to understand that everybody's going to make mistakes, whether they're big or small. You can't let one excursion off or one lockup or one thing kind of break you out of your focus.
Yeah, and it is all about getting in that flow, getting in that kind of that right focus in, and when you make that first mistake, I think the pros, the people who are really good at the game at rallying, they can just recover from it straight away. It's often, when I'm driving myself, I make one mistake, I'm out of the flow, and suddenly I'm completely vulnerable to another mistake. So Jam here, he's had that mistake, but he seems to be just finding his groove again, finding his rhythm, and getting back into this one. So it's good to see Jam just picking up little things every week by week, and just improving how he is.
He's got to put those pipes away, dang. He's going to have those out here for free? Here's what Jam. Man, my man. Tell me we got that gym membership. Sheesh.
Nah, he's looking good. He's looking fresh, and he's driving well. I absolutely despise these hay bale chicanes, I must say. I always go into them far too hot and end up without a radiator at the end of them, and nicely navigated. A little bit cautious maybe, but it's better to come through with a car with less damage at the service to repair.
Yeah, those you can kind of get away with little tree knocks and whatnot, and it's a little bit too deep there. I think just a little bit on the dirt in the braking zone as well. That doesn't help. But in experience, if you touch those bales on the chicanes, they're like concrete walls. That's probably the worst thing you could possibly hit, other than a house or a landmine. But it's not, absolutely do not want to touch those at all. Even grazing them on the exit, I've picked up big damage before. So good job for him staying clean. And Cephalosis, unfortunately, a little spin, and you can see the look on his face. He wasn't stoked that he got the reset there. I don't think he thought he was that far off the track, but buddy, the brakes are on the left. So unfortunately, he's going to be, again, like I said earlier, I mean, it's not if you're going to make a mistake, it's when. For the, like you said too, the top level drivers, maybe it's just like a half spin or a little over rotation or tire off. That's how you recover from it. That kind of shows who is kind of built for the rally thing. Again, it's just mentally resetting, kind of going, okay, well, I've got 80 kilometers left to drive. I got to focus and not let this impact the rest of my rally, as unfortunately you already see there, a little bit deep and going a little bit wide in the hairpin. He's going to take another excursion in one of these beautiful, beautiful fields of the Central European Rally. Yeah,
just taking a little detour, taking maybe a few loops for the fans. That's what you can maybe stylistically call that one. But Encephalosis is showing that exactly what happens when you get out of the flow. So easy just to make mistakes, to get your concentration out of it, and yet again he finds another bush to tear through. Really, that's what he did there. And that Subaru threatening behind him in the bottom left-hand corner. That pressure on him isn't seeming to help him here, but he's just got to nurse his way back to the end of this rally and hopefully not pick up too much damage.
That Subaru looks like my dad when I brought home a report card that wasn't quite good enough. It's like, son, thought we talked about this. No Xbox for 3 weeks, son.
Oh, crikey. Back to the report card days. We are near the end of this stage. I think Eyes Amusing has got to the end of it.
Surprise!
There we are.
Shocker!
There we are. Look,
right
at the top, as we can actually hear the Discord chatting between each other. But Eyes Amusing, again, he's got very good time. But, tyre strategy-wise, has he gone early with it? What tyres has he gone for? What could that mean? If he's taking too much life out of the tyres on those initial stages, he's gonna have to pay for that somewhere else, isn't he?
Yeah, and I mean there's always two tire strategies, at least among us and the creators. The obvious one and I put some thought into this one. So the obvious one here would be to do 4 stages on the set of mediums, change them, 4 sets on the mediums, and then do the power stage on the softs. But you might see some people go just kind of check the mileage and go, is it worth it? The power stage towards the end is only about 8 kilometers or so. So I think you can turn on a soft and get it going and get it into operating temperature and actually use it in that time. But might be opting to use the soft towards the middle of the rally and then carrying the medium at the end, because if you still have a mildly used medium, it's still not going to be a bad tire. You're just kind of accepting, okay, well, I'm going to leave some time on the table to kind of gain it in other places. And if anyone's going to do something like that with tire strategy and understands when it's time to go against the status quo, it would be our tried and true Ism using.
Shall we pull him in for a little interview? Shall we see how he's doing?
He's been frothing for it, yeah.
He has been frothing for it because usually he can just delight us with his commentary skills, but this week he's delighting us with 2 P1s on the first 2 stages there. He's amusing. You're going for it here, aren't you?
Going for it, yes, but it's not plain sailing, to put it mildly. I've had 2 near off incidents in the first 2 stages, so these cars very, very sort of limited amount of grip, and the threshold between overdriving the car and driving it perfectly is so narrow. So it just 10 centimeters to the left or to the right on the stage can mean having the fastest time or DNF. So it's a case of you just got to keep pushing and hope for the best, I think.
So we've driven some rear-wheel drive stuff already this season. What is the big difference between Group A rear-wheel drive and what we're driving this week, you think?
Oh, it's a tricky one to answer because this car that I'm driving, the Ford Escort, is a modern interpretation built for the Irish Tarmac Championship. So it's basically a modern car underneath. So you've got really good suspension, but it's got like old school rear wheel drive, obviously. So the main difference you notice is how pointy the car is. It reacts immediately and without any sort of finesse to your inputs, basically. So you're constantly correcting the car, constantly getting a load of oversteer. Where some of the older cars, you have to run the suspension a little bit softer, and so they react a bit less, so you can be a bit more aggressive with them, whereas this one is just holding on for dear life.
What I'm hearing now is real drivers drive the Renault 5 Turbo. That's what I'm hearing.
I wanted to. I really wanted to, but sadly we couldn't come to an agreement with all the fast guys to drive it. So everybody was like, "No, we want to go for the outright win." So I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll have to do that as well." But Renault 5 Turbo holds a very special place somewhere in a tree for me. So there you go.
Typical driver there, blaming other drivers for the equipment that he's driving there. That's a fascinating move. But Iso, obviously we'll catch up with you later on, maybe mid stage. Let's see how that goes for you. But great to see you powering out there, and yeah, wish you all the best. We're gonna pull in Vlembar next into the commentary booth. Vlembar, how are you going out there? Not quite where you'd expect to be so far.
I'm surviving. That's all I'm saying. No, it's really tough. This class is definitely not easy for me.
I mean, you're not a slouch in WRC at all. I think to say that would be an understatement. So what is the big difference with this class versus stuff that we've driven this season? Where are you struggling right now with these cars?
Especially the Ford I picked, the Escort. It's just way too powerful for me as a rear-wheel drive, so it's really hard for me to control it. I really have to be cautious on accelerating and turning, because I don't know how many you saw in first stage, but I think I had like 3 or 4 spins, which were 2 of them just basically turning a bit too much in my opinion, and the rear just getting loose. So could be maybe setup, but yeah, it's just tough for me in general in this class.
Little mistakes you can recover from though. Nothing, no big damage to your car there.
No, definitely. I technically didn't have any crash, just spins, so I have to say I'm driving really careful right now, so I just finish. That's my target.
What is it
Maybe
specifically you don't like about the Central European Rally? Is it the tarmac stages? It just doesn't quite work for you?
oh no, it's not the rally. I love the rally.
Okay.
CR is one of my top 3 rallies normally, but this class just nullifies everything.
Right, okay. Kills those feelings for you.
A bit. Just a bit. I do enjoy the rally though.
Fair enough,
It is
Lembar. We'll let you get out there and show us what you've got. Doing well, even though it's not quite your best. You know, it's still better than others. So you're doing quite well out there, Lembar.
Yeah, I'm also, for how safe I'm driving, I'm happy for now. So if we keep it clean of mistakes, maybe top 20. Then I'm happy.
Lovely. Great to hear from you, Vladimir. We will speak to you soon. Let him get going with his next stage. And that's it. We were speaking about this earlier, just the type of mistakes that some drivers make, just a few spins here or there, whereas other drivers are throwing it off into some of the farmers' fields around here.
Yeah, and I think he touched on something that we haven't really mentioned yet. A lot of these drivers are in the Escort, not everybody, but most. On paper, it's a demon. 330 horsepower, less than 1,000 kilograms. It weighs nothing. It has way too much horsepower for its own good. It is terrifying to drive if you're not in the rhythm and kind of working with it. Again, I'm going to say this probably 500 times, but having done the rally last night, it's better to work with that car than against it. As we read back on with somebody not in the Escort, the M3 with TK. I think this might be a bit safer of a choice in terms of power delivery. It's got a little bit longer wheelbase. It's not going to try and snap as much. It weighs a bit more. Might be a bit more comfortable to drive in. Maybe that's kind of out. There we go. Where was that 10 minutes ago? Let's go. Backwards entry into the square. Just do that 17 more times. That's fine. It will make up. But yeah, really, really hard car to drive if you're fighting it. You kind of have to let the car do the work and kind of be along for the ride. As well, okay, I spoke too soon.
How to do it and how not to do it.
It's my turn to commentators curse somebody. I have the power now.
You know, it's in his toolkit here, TK. He just needs to unlock it. Just needs to get into that flow, and I feel like we haven't quite seen him in that flow so far today. But Jam on God and JPH, they're both out there as well on stage 3 here. So they've just had a service. They've just had a chance to fix their cars. What are you prioritising here if you have a well-damaged car here, Evo?
For me, suspension and brakes are big ones. Obviously, it is a fast rally, too. A lot of this, especially if you're in the Escort, you're in 4th, 5th, and 6th gear. So engine, no turbos on the Escorts. They're all naturally aspirated, which 330 horsepower, the engine the size of a cola bottle is kind of nuts. But for me, it's suspension and brakes. Bodywork also kind of important. There's not a lot of downforce, but when you're sending it into a right 5 at 170, 180 kilometers an hour with no rear wing at all, I'd rather have some downforce than no downforce. So the only thing that you could really kind of go, I'll fix that later is the gearbox. Again, you're not really shifting that much. Like I don't think I ever used first, and my gears were pretty long. So I'm not an expert on the topic. Setup stuff and fixing stuff is something that I'm still learning. But for me, every time I would fix the suspension and the brakes and go out to the stage next time, it felt like a whole new car. So that was the big ones for me.
Yeah, both going well here on stage 3 are JPH and Jam, and just using the cars. Will have any of them switch tyre at that service, do you think?
No, I mean, unless they have some sort of big strategy plans for that power stage, I think it's too early. I think especially because these are the longer stages, unless you've totally cooked your tires and not confident in taking them to the next 2 stages, you're staying on the mediums. They would have noticed in the second stage that they are starting to wear in, and this is where it's going to start being difficult. Again, it's not going to be bad in the hairpins, in the square rights, in the 1s and the 2s. It's the medium speed stuff, the 3s and the 4s, where you have to trust the tire grip, especially the loaded rear tire grip, where it could just slide out a little bit, and if you overcorrect, that is a big off waiting to happen.
Yep, and there was a comment in chat. What is the overlay? Thank you very much, Kel Betry, for mentioning it. We'll give him a shout out. WRC Rally TV overlay by Aaron Fang. It's probably some SimHub stuff involved. Good luck to anyone installing SimHub on a PC. Not a fan of that piece of software. It's caused me many a headache in the past. But if you want to give it a go for sure. And it does look mighty impressive there. On the display, we do just take the screens of I'll let you in behind some of the magic. We take the screens of all of our drivers. That's how we're able to get everyone in real time. There's no spectator mode in the game. Hopefully well, there is kind of a spectator mode in the game, but we won't get into it. Ancephalosis goes way off there, and he wishes no one was looking at that one.
Yeah, again, it's not really the slow corners unless you're just diving it in. But see, it was a 3 where he went off. It's just kind of thinking you can carry a little bit more speed in that you can. The rear tires are not in the same place they were 2 stages ago. And with words are hard. In a rally where tire wear is so crucial, it's hard to kind of get in a rhythm and stay in a rhythm for 4 stages because the car is changing so quickly. So you kind of have to start backing up your braking zones and turning in a little bit earlier. And when you start doing that, do you start doing that too early and then leave a little bit of speed on the table, or too late and then have an issue like we saw with NC?
Yeah, those fast to medium speed, just where Andrew seems to be struggling. But But having said that, still looking good, still improving week by week. He got that top 100 result on that first stage, so still looking good is Anthopolosis. Jam on God looking nice here, really flying through it. He's got a bit of a jump coming up here, so he's going to have a little bit of care there.
Oh, this is such a good part of the stage, yeah. You get the jump into the 4. Oh, yeah, it's beautiful. This, again, to Blembar's point, I've never done this rally before. Come jab. Stay in it. Right foot. Attaboy. Back out there. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. He knew we were watching. Just wanted to put on a show. I'm surprised that a lot of them are struggling kind of this early on. Again, it is a very, very narrow tarmac rally. We've been to Iberia, which was almost, you've heard it from real life WRC drivers when they used to go there. It's almost like a racetrack because it's wide and you can set up your corners really well. This kind of isn't as much, where it's really hard to kind of move to the right for a left-hand corner. You don't really have the time or the space either. You don't really have like a whole car length where you can move. Oh, stop doing your boy dirty. You have to talk to this guy after. You know that, right? He's going to watch this. You're well aware.
He was well aware that I was going to do him the dirty. Don't worry about that. It would have been me. If I was driving, there was an alternate reality where I'd be driving tonight. If that was me, I would be being done dirty as well. So it's just how it goes. It's just how it goes.
You English and your banter.
Also out there as well, giving us a driver camera, which is definitely just her feed. So we'll try and get that sorted in the background. But with Blondie out there, TK's had a big moment there. We can't step away from him. He's definitely just punctured the car and he's flown into a bridge, and that's a bit of radiator damage too on the stage 3. So he's going to go for a whole other stage with that damage.
Yeah, that's the big one. I mean, that is something that we fixed in this season. We didn't want to see people catch the damage at first stage. Hello? Well, now we can hit trees. I told you it was going to happen. But yeah, now he's got to carry that damage. So what do? Do you short shift? Do you just lift off or kind of descend it and hope the engine will hold? But again, I think he's just... The idea right now is to finish. Yeah, he's definitely got some sort of damage at the rear end of that car, or the rear tires are just cooked. And
I think it's
considering because it just left him there. Like, it walked right out of his hands. So
I think he'll be the only driver taking that line to the flag finish.
it's memorable.
He's got to the end here. He can take a fresh pair of tires, and I think it's all about getting to the end. If he gets to the end here, he should still be not last of the creators, because we've had a DNF already.
Yeah, again, that's something that he's got to keep into mind. Again, it just depends on what he's trying to do. We are all in our own skill level. Some of us are still learning. Some of us are have been on this platform for a while. It's what goals do you carry into the rally? But at the same time, we're all racing drivers to a degree, right? Like, we're all super competitive, and especially when you're out there with your teammate running the stage at the same time. What times you get? What times you? Oh, Cephalosis with a big roll on the right side of your screen. Unfortunately, just going into the bank a little bit too hot. Couldn't get the counter steer. I wonder if that is a result of picking the BMW. Again, the longer wheelbase usually means that those snapping moments are a lot easier to feel out, but once the car over rotates, you don't have the snappiness of the front to kind of whip you the other way. So unfortunately, I think he's going to be able to continue. Minor damage, all things considered. It is a rally car. They are kind of made to roll over. That's part of the sport. But yeah, not the best moment here for Encephalosis. Hopefully he can clean up and maybe take a minute in the next service stage, kind of clear his head and focus on the back half of this rally, because there's still so much rally left.
Yeah, absolutely. He just not been the cleanest first 3 stages for him, but it's all to play for, really, and especially as other drivers can make mistakes. You get into a good rhythm for 6 out of 9 stages, you'd be happy with that. Yeah,
it's so annoying too when you nail 6 stages and then it all starts to fall apart towards the end, because I was so close to having a perfect rally, but that's kind of something that only the top players and the real life drivers kind of make it look out to that it's possible to run a perfect rally, unless you've run through the rally 20 times and know every corner like the back of your hand. It's something you kind of just have to accept and move forward with. I'm going to make mistakes. There are going to be issues. It's how you recover from these issues, as again, one of the best parts of the course, as we ride along with Lumbar now. I love this camera. especially with this car. He's doing 200 kilometers an hour, super, super fast. You see him using all the racetrack. It's super, or racetrack, using all the road. Super risky to drop onto the gravel, too, because they're on slick tires and with the rear-wheel drive, and he's in this Escort. So it's 330 horsepower coming out of very small rear tires, and the car weighs nothing. So any sort of dirt, if the car's not settled, you're gone. So this is talking about people who know this rally and are comfortable with these roads and know where they can cut and know where they can't. Lembar is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, and do you use those little? You can see on the edges of the curbs. Is it worth just dipping a wheel in to guide you through there, like Lembar's showing? Is that something you do, or is there some corners where you just don't do that?
He's doing his best Takumi impression. He's doing the gutter run on Mount Akina right now. But I tried a bit on the tighter hairpins, but then I personally, I don't have the hands for it. It's hard to keep the car hooked in there while having it not over rotate, and that's the difference. You see it right there. It's literally initial D. 2 tires in the gutter, 2 tires in the I don't know what you'd call it, but helping the car kind of hook in and getting that weight transferred. So it's hard to do because if you go in too fast or too slow, it just won't work, or you'll just spin. So that there's differences between a good rally driver and a great rally driver, and you're seeing it right there.
Yeah, he's just using it. He's just, it's interesting. I was thinking, I wasn't, thinking that he would actually do it. I was just wondering if he would do it, because obviously in places like Sweden, where we're racing next week, you do have similar kind of snowbanks that you will use, and then there'll be snowbanks that you don't want to go near, and will kind of slow you down, and use too much, it'll be sending you careering off. So interesting to see those strategies come out and play on this Creator Series broadcast. Eyes amusing. Not quite sure of his splits through the 3rd stage, but he's on to stage 4 here, and looking to grow the lead for this championship in the Creator Series for Season 3. I believe he is the Season 2 champion. I think the Season 3 championship is well within his grasp. He's kind of recovered through it. He wasn't quite on it for the first couple of rounds, but he's really kind of got his head into it and had a good run of luck so far as he's just throwing it in here. The commitment from Isa, from John, just supreme.
Yeah, something else to stress too is not only is he leading the creators, he's leading everybody. He's at the top of the leaderboard in points currently for the entire club. And he does this, and so I'm sure he puts a lot of work in behind the scenes, and you can see that on his Twitch channel. It is amusing. But he puts so much work in, but he's still so nonchalant about it. Even if he does great, he goes, "I've done a really good job. I'm good at the rally." It's very Finnish of him, honestly. And if he doesn't do well, it's like, "Oh, darn it, we've not done very well, lads," and then just goes out and gets a top leaderboard time. It's crazy how comfortable he is with this. It's nuts.
I've not done very well. I'm only P3.
Yeah, I've done terrible. I'm 5th place out of 500 people. Go outside. Get a hobby, please. I'm begging you.
He would call himself ex-esports. Would he's amusing?
Yeah.
I think he's staking a claim here to maybe not be so ex-esports.
Man, if not that, like, he's got to be involved with this somehow, either like a coach or driver talent or setup or something. He's too in his prime to kind of let the kids have at it. We need some of us old folk with rent to pay and back problems out there sending it to. And I've been following his career for a while. We've come from similar backgrounds. He's come from the rally world. I've come from the drifting world. So we kind of crossed paths a couple of times. And again, the reason he sounds so nonchalant is because he's been at this level for so long, and there's no signs of faltering. Yes, he'll have a spin here and there, but I guarantee you, if this was a big rally with some big bucks on the line, you'd see a totally different Izzo behind the wheel right now.
Absolutely. He's kind of channeling his Lightning McQueen Cars 3 vibe. That's his era at the moment. He's going to make a big comeback, and he is going to make a big comeback because he's just absolutely on it. Look at that, just flying through there. To be honest, I was watching the road there, and I would have gone full into the ambulance and recovery vehicles. That's the difference. What he's reading, how he's reading the calls and the signals. Of course, doesn't use the hood, only uses the instructions in his ear. Which, where do you stand on that one? Instructions to the ear, or do you have to have that visible symbol on the screen?
I need both because I'm not there yet. I mean, this is the way to do it. This is the immersion. This is, I think, something that WRC is a game. If you're watching this going, "Wow, this looks cool," first of all, yeah, it is. Go buy the game right now. But this is. If you can get to this level, this is where you can kind of get super immersed, maybe throw on a VR headset, turn off all the HUD that you can. I'm not at that level yet. I don't have the stage knowledge, and I don't know every corner or most corners. I don't know what a 3 means in certain cars versus others. I need that visual reference just in case. And another thing too is like, I can't remember 3 corners ahead. So you'll hear the call of like 3 into 60 into crest into 4. By the time I get to the crest, like, okay, what's next? So it's nice that I can just flick my eyes up and go, okay, it's a 4. I heard that and I know what's coming. Again, that's the difference between somebody who's good at rallying and great at rallying. See, he doesn't need that. That's a distraction for him.
Have you played Tetris before? You're a Tetris fan? I think I need like the stack, the three next items that are coming my way, the 3 next blocks that are coming my way, the shapes. I think I need them on screen at all points because I just forget what's happening. I go flying into a corner and I'm like, is this the 1 or the 2? I've completely lost where I am and I'm flying off. That's what I need. I don't know if you've played Tetris before and you know what I'm talking about.
I used to work in a warehouse stacking boxes, so it's very similar. What's crazy though about pace notes and something that I've learned, you guys have watched my entire career as a rally driver for Creator Series, literally from the start to where we are now. When you're not thinking about the corners is when you're driving your best. It sounds stupid, but if you're not, I got a 3 and a 2 coming up, if you're just letting that information kind of come in and letting your subconscious take care of the rest of it, that's when you're on it. So again, it doesn't surprise me that people like Kamikaze Vlembar don't use that visual marker because they don't need it. They're not even thinking about it. They hear it come in their ear and they're already thinking about 15 corners ahead or whatever they're thinking about.
Yeah, stunning. Ease of Music going into the final sector of this stage here. A little bit of a wobble through there. There was a moment at high speed a couple of sectors ago which looked a bit hairy, looked a bit scary, but Ease of Music just recovered from it. As Music would say, this is just our stream replicating what Rally TV does as we lose signal through the trees. It's definitely not what actually happened, but Ease of Music just having a little bit of just dipping it in, riding that outside. You can see the expression on his face. He knows he's close to his limit there, and that's what it's all about, just finding that limit, being as close as you feel comfortable to being there, and that's how you extract maximum pace. Here we are, final few corners to go. Miss that corner cut, and we'll come to just a couple of hairpins, and it will be the flying finish, and we'll see what kind of time he's using his set here, but it's looked very, very clean once again.
Very crazy to see that he's sideways. Ooh, he's a little bit on the bank there. I think it was worth it to get that little bit extra time. But he's sideways, 190 kilometers an hour on a road that's wide enough for the car just going straight. That's confidence. I think that's what separates the top level of people in this sport versus people who are on the come up. Let's see where he ends up. And surprise, surprise, still at the top of the board.
He's at the top, is he? That's unbelievable.
Yeah. And not only is he at the top, he's at the top by 4 seconds. And you see a lot of names there. Maybe they're not in the Creator Series. They're still really competitive. Anybody with a VBR name in front of them is bad fast. I've been trying to chase Flashhole for the last 2 seasons. Very good driver as well.
Your nightmares are quite specific with that one. You keep talking in your sleep about Flashhole and people are worried.
Well, I mean, TK also in the chat with a flame emoji, so I'm assuming his rally is going well. He's on the toilet, folks.
Yeah. He's gone to lighten the load. Has he crashed out there? I think that was stage 4 they've just navigated there. So it would make sense that he's in the service area here at stage 5. But I don't think he's had the car's looking fine. If you can get to a service and you still have points left to repair the car and what it looks like, I think you're good.
I think I see what happened. He had no spare. I don't even know if he did stage 4.
Oh, okay. We're about puncture on stage 3. Oh, crikey.
You can handle it with the front. That's fine. It's going to be inconvenient, but whoop-de-doo. With these cars with no rear tire, I just park. I just leave it.
No, who do you think you are, TK, taking no spare? That's what I think. You should be taking 2 spares, my friend. That's all I'm saying for the rest of the rally. Slow yourself down. Take the spare. If he took the spare there, he would have been quicker overall on that rally, probably.
Mm-hmm.
There we are. He forgot. Yeah, I don't believe you, TK. I don't believe you. But Ease of Musing looking fresh out there. Just switching to a pair of the medium tires there, I think that was.
Yeah, so I think, unless he's going to put on the softs early, but again, the tire deg here is so bad that I don't think you're going to do more than one stage in the soft. So I'd be surprised if he puts them on before the last stage, before the power stage, and goes for that top time. But I mean, his strategy is the correct one. We're just all kind of, it's his world right now. We're just kind of living in it.
Great. Well, I think we're going to pull in someone else for an interview. We're going to pull
in. Antsy, no!
Ooh.
Good. There's people in that ambulance, Antsy. Oh, do the me. Yeah!
He got over there.
Doesn't matter.
He got over.
He crossed the line, doesn't matter how.
Yeah, it really doesn't. The service is right here as well, as he could just career down that bank. You know, there's it looks fine enough. He'll probably make it. Oh, there was maybe not many doors on that right-hand side.
It's just winking at us. That's all.
It looks fine from one angle. But what we're going to do is pull an IRC for a quick interview, because it'd be interesting to speak to him and see how your rally is going, JPH. Can you hear us? Not sure he can. Maybe he can't. I think I've pulled him in when he hasn't got his headset on. I've broken the unwritten rule here. I've just dragged JPH in, but I think he is going to be here.
Hello.
JPH, how are you doing?
Hello, not too bad. How are you? You literally just caught me at the end of the stage.
Yeah, I mean, 4 stages in, looking consistent out there. Is there any areas you feel like you're lacking in on this rally?
I mean, it's not something boastful. I feel very comfortable in the car. See, those last 2 are a bit more tricky because of the tyre wear. I think most people change tyres for stages 3 and 4. I've stayed on the same set of mediums, and that last stage was particularly tricky. But no, I think we're in a really, really good position at the moment. The car feels bolted to the floor, which you can't ask for more in a rear-wheel drive car.
We've been talking about it off and on throughout the course of the broadcast that the tires are playing such a big role in this stage specifically, or in this rally specifically compared to the rest of the year. Is there anything that you can do as a driver to kind of keep, especially those rears, kind of keep them in check and make sure you don't burn through them too fast?
The majority of it is just trying to keep the wheel spin under control and not just spin the rears, because what you'll find with these cars is that the front tires will be absolutely fine. There'll be nothing wrong with them. It's the rears that will cause you issues, and so it's just purely keeping that wheel spin under control. And luckily, the setup that I've got does do that quite well. I mean, I think the tyres for me didn't really start dropping off until the latter part of stage 3, so I got a fair distance into the rally with them. So yeah, that's the only real way of controlling that sort of tyre wear.
Well, thank you very much, JPH. Hopefully that new set of tyres will be a treat for you, and we'll watch along and see how you do. Thank you very much for joining the booth. We are going to grab in one more person. Who should we go for? Should we go for Kamikaze? He can talk us through his moment on stage 1, I believe it was. Kamikaze, you're in recovery mode today, aren't you?
I try. It's so stupid mistake. So yeah, sorry to show that on stream.
I didn't see anything, to be honest.
No,
so
good.
Yeah.
Good. No,
your subscriptions are safe.
Yeah, I was flat out on the straight and touched the gravel on the edge. Just a stupid mistake. I should stay middle of the road, and I start rolling and landed on my roof. So yeah, that's basically all. Can't reset, so need to retire for next day. So stage 4 now, we have 3 flat tires, 1 on the rim, and yep, I don't say anymore.
You are the Creator Series Colin McRae, I think, at this point. Either you're towards the top of the board or in a tree.
Yeah.
But what's the mindset now? I mean, obviously, with that penalty, it's not looking like an overall win. Are we going for fast times on stages or power stage, or where's your head at right now?
Now we're going for fun. Power stage, at least we need to secure 5 points there. So we're saving our tires to last, soft tires to the last. So we're going to use every tire we have in the garage. So new set of tires, every service we're going to put on rain tires, whatever. We're just going to have fun.
And again, you're putting on rain tires. No rain in the forecast, but I mean, you're the pro here. But yeah, just keeping the spirits up. It's nice to see you with a smile on your face. I know that's kind of frustrating, but what is something that maybe is a little bit different about these cars that you're used to driving? I know you're super competent in the basically top 3 classes at WRC, but these are a little bit weird, not using them that very often. What's been the challenge for you to get adjusted?
The biggest challenge is the car is so snappy. So from 1 second to another, you can be in the ditch, you can be in the forest. But we find a good setup. So last stage we won actually. We had the best stage time in stage 3 or something. So we need to take the good with us and have the spirit up, and it's still a good people's running, and we're still having fun in the lobby and talking, having good conversation in the background, backstage.
All right, Kami. Best of luck to the rest of you, to the rest of the day. Obviously, not the result you were looking for, but go out there, have some fun, see how the rain tires compete with everybody else, and maybe put a stop to Iz's reign of terror. For the love of God.
Yep, we need to try. We're gonna keep up with Isa, try at least, and we go for a win on the power stage for sure.
Yeah, take some points away from him. We need to do that for sure. Thank you very much for joining, Tom, and we'll see how you go for the rest of it. We will head over to the next stages, though, because I believe they are out there on stage 5 as we speak, with Blondies cracking on with it out there. And yeah, a very short stage 5 here. So a little one, some of the drivers picking the mediums for this section of...
Yeah, this is where it starts to get a little... Ooh. Good recovery from F1 there on the left side of your screen. Look at her face. Not. I was just cut me off there a little bit. We're out of the longer stages now. They're going to be about 4 to 6 minutes versus 7 to 9 average speed. So you're going to have a little bit more time to make mistakes and kind of recover and get to the end of the stage. I know it's so heartbreaking mentally to make a mistake in that first minute and then have to drive another 7. So the stages are going to be a little bit more reasonably length. As keep it. Well, the tree will help you. Oh, maybe not. It's tough, man. Like, this is a tough rally. This is a tough car to be driving. She picked the Escort. I think she picked the Escort because everybody else was in the Escort. It's a demon to drive. You heard Kamikaze say it. It's so snappy. You countersteer a little bit too much, it'll just take off on you. She's on new tires, which only makes that snap problem worse, unfortunately.
Should have gone for the Renault 5 Turbo, like I suggested. That's.
I can't wait to see where your leaderboard time is at the end of the evening.
It will be DNF, DNF, DNF. But yeah, maybe I'll give it a go after this and see how I can do. I was looking for. I've never driven a Renault 5 Turbo. I do.
Well, that's not anything to be disappointed about. 33 seconds off the lead. That's not. And he's got a 50-second. How did you get a 50? Oh, damage repair. So even on top of that, you know, maybe not the best start, but solid finish, kept the car clean, and now he's got something to compete in the next stage. I think is almost even more important.
Yeah, going well from there, and he's got a solid.
Oh
car.
yeah,
look at that. He's so happy with that. I'm happy to cut to TK when he's done well. Right, I was doing a bit dirty early on the broadcast, and it's nice to see the elation, the good feeling that can come with just from a top 100 in this club.
Yeah, and it's not that it's there's hundreds of drivers that have done this. I think I checked last night. There's about 200 drivers that have completed the rally. And today's the big day, obviously, where a lot of people jump on and follow along with the broadcast, or watch the broadcast and then get their times in after. Surprise, surprise! This is at the top of the board.
This is overall.
Yeah,
this is overall.
Yeah. Well, again, surprise, surprise! This is the top of the board. But it's so fun. Again, they're not paying me to say this. Join this club. It's a ton of fun. It's super competitive. It's not the same car every week, which is fun as well. It's something that you could just jump into with maybe a little, like an hour or two of practice and still do competitive and kind of see where you stack up and kind of go from there. It's been a blast to be a part of it. And for moments like that too, where you see your hard work kind of pay off with a really good stage time.
Yeah, absolutely. Ancephalosis going through this stage 5 now. We're on stage 5. I'm starting to lose count. But he's just cracking on with it here. These slower speed corners he's been okay with. It's the medium speed corners that he's been struggling with so far. But taking it cautious as we head uphill here for this stage of the rally and the final part of this stage, this final sector. Got a couple of hairpins to come as well. Oh, just taking a little bit too much of the road on the right. That's unsettled him into there, and I think he's just dingily going through the rest of this. It feels like he's going quite slow. I don't know if that's just me being a bit rude about his driving, but is he carrying any issues out there? I don't think so. He seems to not be tugging to the left or right, which would indicate a puncture or some suspension damage. So just going through a slower part of this rally, and lots of hairpins and switchbacks as we head really downhill there. And we'll see where he can go. Is this going to be a top 100 time for Ancephallosis? It's certainly what he tries to aim for. As again, we plunge downhill. And there's a little bit of a jump coming up. Just needs to settle the car before it, and he does nicely into this free left, which is where he's typically been struggling, but decent for him through here nonetheless. And I think this could be a decent time.
The jump into the left is one of the 3 best sets of corners on the rally. There's another set where it's a bunch of 4s, but you're going up or downhill, and they're all banked. Those are awesome. And then the one with the bridge, where it's basically flat. Oh, okay. He's not too happy with himself, I don't think. Yeah, that's an alternate. At least he won't run over the stewards doing that. We won't have to worry about the union coming over and asking us for health and safety payments. But
just outside the top 100 there.
Yeah, he's not super stoked on that. You can see he's solidly a top 50 driver, I would say, too, when he's on it. And he's only been getting better, which is terrifying. But yeah, I don't know if it's because that was a more technical stage and the longer wheelbase BMW just wasn't suiting his driving style, but definitely a driver that can easily be within the top 100. Speaking of which, we have 2 drivers that very much are well within the top 50. Kamikaze basically just going for fast stage times now. I wonder if he's up there on the reins. And then Vlembar, somebody who can absolutely take it to the top of the leaderboard, just needs to keep it clean. You see super fast run off the jump, basically just a little lift into the uphill left. Again, one of my favorite parts of this entire rally with so many memorable moments.
Yeah, send it and spend it from Kamikaze. This looks to be a very clean run through here. Looks to be a top 50, both finishing at very similar times. 4:23 though for Vlembar. Maybe he just set off slightly earlier, but yeah, very good time from Kamikaze. His car looks less than ideal, but you know, more props to him for how fast he dealt with that, and I think that could be, you know, a top 20 time for him, certainly. Indeed, it's top 10. He's in 8th position, just behind IRC, JPH, and Eyes Amusing, what I want to allude to, didn't get first on that stage, actually lost a couple of seconds to the French compatriot.
Yeah, like I said earlier, you guys see anybody with the VBR in their name, they are very, very, very good set of drivers here in EAWRC. They're always towards the top of the leaderboards for our Creator Series club, and basically any club that's got a public, you know, they're always just trying to be competitive and drive the car and just having fun with the platform. So anybody you see with a VBR in their username, you know they're gonna be a threat. So glad somebody was able to usurp him, but I would imagine he's not going to take that lightly.
Absolutely. Look at this. It's quite a dark stage here. Is it dusk or dawn? Do you know?
I think it's all one day.
Okay.
Because the lights are out now. We are well within. We were talking about gutter drops earlier, but we're well within initial D stages now, where the lights are out, and this is just basically a mountain stage. You see, Jam cutting the corner a little bit on the left, but again, that's the thing that we talked about a bit earlier too, is kind of being ahead on your pace notes. I think he just heard the corner he was in and then forgot the next corner that was coming up, which is so easy to do. Luckily, you just bounce off that fence and keep it going, and not lose too much time. But something you have to keep in mind now, might play a factor mentally for the rest of the stages. We're just kind of getting started, being 2 minutes in.
Stream Elements telling us we're live again. Hopefully the stream is coming through with no issues. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but do let us know if any more issues have popped up there. But Jam just navigating his way through the start of stage 6 here and doing a nice job of it. Who else is out there at the moment? Eyes Amusing with Blondie, they're both out of it. Eyes Amusing coming towards the end of this stage with Blondie towards the start of it, going through sector 2, a little bit of a cut there, or too much of a cut maybe, and a little bit slidey, but actually nice and clean for that.
Yeah, well held. It's kind of hard to at lower speeds to point the car straight when it slides a little bit. Again, I think it was Kamikaze that talked about it a little bit. These are so snappy. And again, she went for the Escort, which was the popular choice. More power, less weight. On paper, it is the better car. And I think if you look at the leaderboards, it's kind of dominating the leaderboards too. We got some Lancias up there as well, but it comes at a price of being. And it seems to be a lot of the cars in WRC, depending on class, will look faster on paper, but come at some sort of price where they're a little bit harder to drive or snappier or some sort of fault. So something you have to keep in mind when choosing a vehicle. And I think the M3 was probably the good middle ground, the Mario as I like to call it, the middle ground choice, being more balanced. But yeah, solid job. TK's kind of cleaned it up. He's, I think, kind of got it out of the system now. As is crossing the line with a 4 minutes 8-second time. As okay, TK, stop! Every time,
you're the
brother.
one cursing him.
Someone's got to run out there and put those signs back up. Very disrespectful. As he's going to cross this. Being a minute behind is not bad. I think.
That I think, with the amount of preparation TK has for these, the amount of experience he has with rallying, obviously commentates it quite a lot, but doesn't get in the driver's seat too much. I think that's very, very commendable. Near the top 100, 125. I think he's doing a hell of a lot better than I would be in a Renault 5. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just finishing these stages at this point, like we've seen drivers that are usually dominating our leaderboards have a lot of issues today. So if that doesn't tell you the difficulty of this car track combination, as y'all have picked, this was your choice. You didn't. TK made his bed, and now he gets to lay in it.
That's absolutely. We all got together. We all clubbed together, and I was all about picking the worst car track combination. I think there was a bit more reasoned conversation after that, but I wanted to make the creators' lives miserable. And then Punju, after we decided to pick it, said, "Oh, actually, you guys will be driving." And I thought, well, thank goodness it wasn't that bad pick that I came up with. I was looking for the absolute worst one, make people's lives miserable and have to deal with it. A jam over the line there, 4:41. Good time for him. Very, very respectable.
Yeah, if you're within, depending on the length of the stage, if you're within 30 or 40 seconds of that top time, you're doing something right. It sounds so crazy to say out loud, but that's just the level of competition that is at the top. As we're back on Kamikaze, he's got the weight reduction. You can see getting a little bit extra cooling there too. That's just strategy. That's all it is. As JPH too, something that brand new to the to Creator Series this season. No slouch in his own right either. Has found his home right towards the top of the leaderboard and has kind of been up in the mix there ever since. So super cool to see some competition towards that top step of the leaderboard. Is a little bit of an excursion there for Kamikaze as he does end up giving it a spin. And I hate to poke at him, but yeah, but I love that you could see on his face, like he wears his emotions right on his. There's no hiding his disappointment. Obviously he's going for kind of stage times now. He's out of the running for a. There's no hiding his disappointment.
As we can hear ourselves twice.
I saw the countdown. I was like, wait, what? All right. But yeah, like it's JPH has kind of come out his first season, a rookie with us, and really kind of proved himself, and is a very, very normal name towards the top of the leaderboard. It's tough to see where he ends up towards the end of the stage.
Yeah, he's really proven himself over the last few rounds. Came in, I believe, just halfway through this season, and he's just consistently there. Maybe not the most flamboyant driver, but just calm, calculated there. Every corner, not making the same mistakes. It's not 100% driving all the time, but if you drive, 90% the whole time, that's going to be a very, very good time for yourself at the end of the stage. And it's 4:17 was that? It was looked like quite a nice time.
Yeah, I think 4:17 again. If you want to judge off of what's fast right now, is amusing second place with a 4:04, I think. So
we're making it our own standings for Isa. He's not part of the.
Well, there you go.
There
8th place.
Top 10. He's just right there. And then Kamikaze, he went full send. He had that mistake, a few seconds off. I think Kamikaze, without that mistake, could have definitely got the overall lead on that stage at least. But just not making those mistakes has kept JPH in it, and it's fascinating to see that difference in dynamic, how far Kamikaze sends it, and how clean JPH's driving is in comparison, but getting relatively similar times after all of that.
Yeah, it's just the beauty of motorsport and the beauty of rally, right? There's not one way to cook the turkey. You can do it however suits you. Obviously, I like to. I'm calling Kami the Colin McRae of Creator Series. Either he's to the top of the board or he's in a tree. Somebody that might be a little bit more consistent is JPH, and maybe doesn't have that raw, that extra 1% to kind of push above 100 and go for those top times, but is always in the conversation. So when somebody up there makes a mistake, again, he's got no damage really either. maybe a little knock of the front end to get some engine damage or just kind of early downshifting or something. But he's not afraid at all, or not somebody at all who's been, spinning and rolling and whatever. So he's all within the top 10 and consistently within the top 10. And that pays off towards the end of the rally.
Yeah, we're going to pull TK in for an interview. TK, being pulled into the interview
hello.
for the first time, usually on the other side is TK. You know how it goes. I'm going to ask you a question. What do you think my question is going to be about, TK? Is it going to be about the big good parts of driving? Because we saw a very good stage from you. Or is it going to be from the shaky parts of driving? Let's focus on the good to start off with. You're pumped there. Stage 5, top 100 result. That was a very consistent run from you.
Yeah, I think my aim coming into this was to get 1, maybe 2 top 100 stages and to get kind of mid-70s. I'm very happy with that.
We saw your first 2 stages. They were not top 100 times.
No.
So what changed for you in between the first set of tires, let's say, and then what's happened now? Because even coming across the line, the car's got less damage on it. You're driving a lot cleaner.
I want to say practice, but I don't think that's probably the right way of putting it. Maybe a little bit of confidence in the car. I'm kind of learning how it rolls and how it turns and when that grip kind of balances out when you come off the throttle of the car. Obviously, the momentum, the weight shifts on it, and that helps with the turning in a lot more. That's kind of I've taken a step back. I'm not necessarily going for the quick times anymore. I'm just trying to bring the car home, and it's just as long as the car's in one piece, that's kind of a win for me. Obviously, the puncture on stage 3 didn't really go my way in terms of that because
Punctures, wasn't it?
well, yeah, we had a puncture on stage. So we had a puncture on stage 2 or stage 1, like right towards the end, and we kind of got to the end, and that was fine. And then I forgot to take an extra spare tire. So when we got a puncture in stage 3, stage 4 basically was not doable.
Did you DNF on stage 4? You retire?
I did.
Oh,
Basically, even off the
gutty.
straight, it wasn't going forwards because I only had one tire pushing the car forwards.
Did you try steering the other way?
I did, and then the car didn't like that one as well.
Well, you're not the only person to retire. You're joined in good esteem by Kamikaze, who's been absolutely throwing it into every single rally. So, doing well, TK. And, I think, if you just get those top 100 times, that's still a big, big boon and, impressive stuff from yourself.
Thank you. That's the plan. We've got 2 more stages on the mediums. We've gone soft to the power stage, so hopefully it'll be a little bit hell for leather
5
in the
points
final
to the power
stage.
stage, yeah?
Exactly.
Do a flip.
I hope we've done enough of them.
Yeah, we'll watch you, TK. You're going to do a flip. Don't worry about it.
Dear. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, dude. Appreciate it. We'll pull in Ancephalosis for a quick chat as well while we can. Ancephalosis, how are you doing today? You had some decent times, but a little bit of frustration after stage 6 from yourself.
Yeah. It's a different one for me today. Tire wear is not my strong suit. I'm known to overdrive. I'm known to get a little slidey coming into the turns and maybe even a little rowdy coming out of the turns. So I was literally just telling the fam in the chat there, we've gone a bit off the road here, both literally and in terms of tire strategy. I kind of blame Kamikaze for putting this in my head, but also I'm the master of my own destiny, so I take responsibility.
Also quick to blame each other, these drivers, aren't they?
We've gone for the medium rain, soft rain tire strategy.
You are aware he's been on fire like 8 times already, right?
Yes.
Okay, just let you know, that's the guy you're getting your advice from, who's been in a fireball for most of this rally.
To your credit, I think at this point I'm not far behind him, or in front of him. I don't know where he is actually. I think he said he termed. But man, yeah. Was it on the first stage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like, let's cut to Kamikaze, and his car was laying on its side like it was taking a nap.
On fire. Yeah, that's upsetting because I heard it was kind of like a weird reset type terminal. That's always sad when it's kind of the game being weird. But I took his tire strategy. Here we are. I was literally just saying to them as I got yoinked. After the second stage, I was feeling a bit sketchy on my mediums. So really, for me, it came down to, do I think I could get another 20 miles out of these tires that I just struggled on? And the answer was no. So this was the only way I felt, air quotes, safe, but then maybe paid for it on the second half of the last stage.
Now, are you already out there on the reins? Obviously, that's not a typical strategy. I'm just wondering how a rain tire is going to react, having been carried over minimum 2 stages on a surface it's definitely not built for.
Yes. Yeah, great question. So I've been told, and I can confirm that there's some truth to this, that the rain tires are better than worn tires, and even better than medium tires, but only for a very short period of time. And basically the reasoning is that they are in fact made to be driven on the rain, right? So if you drive them on the dry, they basically wear up super fast. So again, I was sliding around on my worn mediums. When I switched to the rains, I actually did grip up quite nicely, but even at the end of the 5 miler, I think I started to notice wear. And then by the end of the second one, I was kind of cooked. So not for nothing, I still like the strategy for the power stage. I will be bringing another set of reins to the power stage.
Well, I'm hoping there's a change in the forecast for you, my friend. Maybe last minute, a system will move in. You never know. But,
yeah, I got radar open. I'm hoping.
Situation, yeah.
Thank you, Ben. I hope you're right.
Right, thank you very much. We'll let you get on with it. I'm sure you're way over time when you're meant to start anyway. But thank you very much, Andrew. See how you go on those final stages. And we are into the final 3 stages, I believe, now. So we do have power stage coming up, which will be worth an extra 5 points. But we do have Eisamusing and TK out there, the 2 commentators, the normal commentators, we should say, out there. Really, actually, quite far through onto the stage 7. And Eisamusing and TK, 2 different entities when it comes to driving, 2 different levels of experience, but both really enjoying it out there, you can see. And Eisamusing super concentrated. He is deeply passionate about getting a second Creator Series championship here.
Yeah, I think he's just like, I feel like we're talking about him a lot, but he kind of represents a lot of people under his umbrella, where he's very passionate about this form of motorsport, period. You hear a lot of references to 2000s rally, 2010s rally, 90s rally. He's an encyclopedia of rally knowledge, and it shows in his driving, not just in where he knows where to cut and knows what not to cut. Example, using the snowbanks in Sweden too is something that I don't think a lot of people would know off rip, but something that he knows just from his knowledge of the sport. And then stark contrast is TK, and I don't mean this to be disrespectful at all. Just out there having a good time, you know what I mean? Like it's 2 very different mindsets and 2 very different approaches.
Yeah, but both getting enjoyment out of it. We saw TK's reaction after stage 5, what that top 100 meant to him, and he'll be feeling the same elation that Eisamusing may be feeling at the end of this rally if he can still hold on to that first position overall, not just in the creator standings, but in the RaceNet standings. I think he's more or less got that creator standings sewn up here, unless he has a big mistake like TK has.
TK.
And we said you said to TK you should roll it, and he's done it for you.
He's just what a guy. He could have set a top 10 time there, and he's went, no. Arrow told me to roll. He would do it for me. I'm gonna do it for him. What a champ. What a lad, you would say. I think from where you're from.
Yeah, an absolute unit is TK. And he's rolled it nicely there for us. Exactly what we wanted from him. So well done. As that bonnet is just clinging on for dear life. Oh, that's a river.
The rare river skip. You don't see Summoning Salt talking about that one, but maybe the next video.
It's a solid strat. I think there's legs in it. If he could just get a little bit higher and not trigger that reset, then he could be making a lot of time here and opening up a whole new run for the drivers. As Eisamusing just using a little bit too much of the inside there, that got him onto the rough and just bled him out a little bit wide, but recovered nicely from it. He's going to come over and set what will probably be quite a good time wrestling downhill here, just within the bounds of this very thin road, and it will be a super flying finish for him, going over, absolutely revving that Ford Escort to within an inch of its life, and 6:36 for him. That's another impressive time.
213 kilometers an hour over the line in a car that weighs as much as a shoe. And you can see it again. Pays off with a top time, 132 miles an hour in a Ford Escort. Sounds terrifying just to say out loud. But you could see it in his driving towards the line again, top of the board, where he just works with the car. It's almost kind of just a little bit sideways every corner. Obviously, the more the tires wear in, the worse that's going to get. But he's not working against the car, trying to keep it straight. He's using a little bit of slip and kind of just letting it work with him. That's just it's poetry in motion to watch him drive.
Absolutely is. Jam's out there now, very, very dark, using, I think fair play to him. He's probably got the darkest screen setting, so it's most realistic, the most ambience for Jam. So that's nice. Very different levels of contrast there, but still pushing it, keeping it within those little yardsticks. So if you hit those, are they going to hurt your car, or is that going to just sail through?
I wouldn't risk it, but obviously if you take a couple of them, that's going to be some damage to the front of the car. It's a 732 for Jam on the, I believe this is the second to last stage now as we get towards the end of the evening here in the Central European Rally, riding along again with TK. Good time for Jam. I think he's going to be stoked on that. TK again trying to just take it one stage at a time. Again, very interesting line there. We went for the bridge skip. Now we're going for the bollard skip. Oh, and that'll do it. Land it. Oh, wait, no, wait. It's
perfect.
Wait. Everything's fine. Everything is okay.
He took his hands off the wheel there, like a pro. He didn't know where that was going, but it ended up quite nicely indeed. That's a heck of a roll. Well done, TK. Best roll of the night so far.
Listen, did you get a top stage time, TK? No. Are you going to be on the Creator Series shorts next week? Probably. So I mean, what's more important? I'd go for the clout over the. That's
exactly. It's all about content here in the Creator Series, and TK is making the content. Ancephalosis is doing a nice hairpin into a one left. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it works out for him.
Yeah, and again, it's. That was funny.
Isa says it every week. I have to get it in somewhere.
It's like he's here. These cars don't like going off-road. It's going to sound like, wow, I'm shocked. But because they're rear-wheel drive, you can't really, and they're set up so stiff compared to an off-road setup, you can't get away with cuts like that depending on how the car's loaded up. Somebody like Izza, who knows these stages like the back of his hand at this point, knows, okay, I can cut here, I can cut here, I can cut here. Especially if you're off throttle or on the brakes or the weight isn't neutral on the car, you go off course here or on the dirt, it's a risk every single time. And you saw it with Ancephalosis. He dropped a tire on the right side, got it on the dirt while he was braking, and it kind of just came around on him. That will happen 10 times out of 10.
Absolutely. Kamikaze now, he's just going to be starting. I believe this is the penultimate stage, is it? I'm completely lost with these stage times. I'm gonna quickly check my document here while I babble. But it's 21:08 and Kamikaze's just gone, so I believe he's just gone early for the second to last stage here. So this is a short one by the looks of things, and Kamikaze, let's see how he's going to treat this next stage here. I think he's just going for it. I think he's just trying to get as close as possible to that final power stage where he could actually pick up some decent points.
Something that I love about Creator Series 2 is it's so well participated that, again, if you have an issue, you're like, well, I'm not going to be able to compete with my normal drivers that I'm competing with. So in his case, Lembar is using. There's still RaceNet drivers that you can compete against. There's 200-300 drivers on average that do every rally as Lembar. Speaking of Lembar, across the line with a 642. That's a belter of a time on that stage. Super fast, high-speed stage as well. So great job from Lembar. Stoked to see where he ends up overall on the stage. But yeah, there's so much competition and so many people that you can go against. So yeah, maybe you're in a little bit of no man's land. Yeah, well, there you go. Top 5 time, still down in Izza with 6 seconds, and immediately he goes up to him like, yeah. But a solid job from Blimbar. He's going to need to find something a little bit extra if he wants to compete and get himself on the podium, but still a very consistent and strong time for the German.
I think he could be well within the podium for the Creator Series standings here, because he's survived. That's what he spoke about when he joined us in the interview. He survived, and that's the most important thing. Kamikaze, who he's often quite close with, didn't survive. He had that moment, so he's going to have a massive chunk of time took out of him. So, you know, Blembar, I think, you know, maybe second position, first maybe just a bit too far out of reach, unless Eisenmusing hits a giant tree stump and goes blasting off like Team Rocket. But, you know, we don't know if these things could happen to Isa. He seems to be unflappable and indeterminable, but, you know, you never know. It's Rally, anything could happen. But Blembar, I think, looks good for a top 2 here, certainly within the Creator Series standings.
Yeah, he's going to need that. And the reason he's looking towards Isamusing is obviously we have our own little points between us in the broadcast. Unfortunately, Punju Eli decided to go on vacation. What a nerd! So we only have it up to Greece. So we don't have it updated from the last round. But coming out of Iberia, there is only 2 points separating Isamusing and Blembar. And then third place is GJ, almost half a points haul behind. So it's basically just those two slugging it out for the overall victory. So every time that Isamusing even gets first at Blembar second in the creators, that's still a big deal. It's one less rally that he has an opportunity to gain some points on him.
Do you think you could be winning that podium shout, Era?
No. I mean, maybe today. I don't know what I did here that was like alien for me, but I have like a top 10 on the power stage. I was 20th overall. I don't know who was driving for me yesterday, but Jam, unfortunately, seeing the unfortunate side effects of maybe going a bit too hard and catching that tree. Again, it's not a dramatic wreck, but it's the damage that he's now going to be carrying that is going to be the bigger deal here.
Absolutely. He's going to have a service at the end of the stage, before the power stage, as he goes underneath the bridge. So he just needs to get it to the end and then reset. And what's your mindset going into those power stage points? Do you look to the overall stage? You don't want to ruin, you know, a good day's work, or do you just go full send and hope you can pick up points in both the full stage and the power stages?
For me personally, I'm more of like a midfield driver, so I'm not really. Maybe I'll scrape some like fifth. So normally I'm just like, you know what? A lot of my competition, so I like to pull Punju's name into it. He's also not here to defend himself. He's the driver too, very Colin McRae. Either he's very, very fast or upside down. So I'm like, well, if I just drive what I know how to do and don't fall for that trap for the power stage.
Don't drive upside down.
I know he will crash 10 times out of 10. So I'll end up getting him. But if the rally's going really, really well and you feel confident that you can push towards that last stage, then go for it. But a lot of times drivers will, hey, it's the power stage, I got to go for points, when it was already going to be kind of a stretch anyway, and then end up making an uncharacteristic mistake. So it's kind of just, for me personally, obviously I'm not, you know, top 5 driver in the world, but it's kind of like, oh, how's the rally going? Okay, how are my tires? What's my tire strategy? And, oh, we talked about it earlier. That's probably the last thing that you want to hit out on a stage is Jam on God looking to the skies right now, saying a prayer.
That fatigue hitting in, isn't it? Plus Jam.
That's a very real thing too. Like that is. Last night, again, it's not a short amount of driving. It's about an hour, 50 minutes to an hour of driving at super high levels at 100% concentration. This is not a circuit. You don't have a back straightaway or a high-speed section where you can turn your brain off. You have to be on it 100% of the time. And if there's a little bit of a lapse of focus, especially in the night when you're on worn tires, that's the result. It's just, unfortunately, some contact with that wall.
Yeah, so he's coming towards the flying finish here. It's not going to be the fastest time for Jam, but he's got to the end, and one more stage, and he certainly won't be last this week. 5:44 over the line. He's certainly happy with it. Shall we pull him? Shall we see if we can pull him straight in for an interview? Let's see if he bites. Let's just yab him straight in. Come on, Jam. I've pulled you in. I'm watching you. I know you're at the end of your stage. Did he hear me though? He may have it all muted up, so he's gonna unmute.
He's deafened, but he would have heard the ding dong as he got pulled into.
He would have heard the ding dong, unless he's in streamer mode, which as a pro streamer,
nerd.
You know, I think he's gonna be in it. Jam, we've pulled you into the interview straight away there. We did see you just hit make a few mistakes on that stage. Is it just fatigue setting in for you?
Yes. Sorry, I didn't even know I was already in the room.
Yeah, no, I yeeted you in straight away. Don't worry about it, pal.
No, skill issues started. You know, I basically ran out of talent, as what as Tanak would typically say. It's gone. I'm out.
I mean, it started so well. You were just really, really consistent, but on that stage, you just seemed just to be a bit rusty? You focused on the power stage now.
No, kind of, not really. Just trying to get the car to the end again as usual. I would. I don't know. I don't really have anything to say about that. I literally just I ran out of talent.
I mean, it might make you feel a little bit better, but you are not the only one that's been having some struggles today. I would say I think everybody has had a moment from mild to wild, but it's something I think to do with these cars. A lot of people have kind of weighed their 2 cents on it. How are you feeling about the rear-wheel drives this week?
I'm honestly feeling a lot better with it, mostly because of JPH's help. A lot of it became slightly easier to work with because of his help and teaching me certain things over the last week or so. If it wasn't for him, I'd probably be wrapped around the tree multiple thousand times already. So definitely a lot more. I'm learning a lot better of how these things are handled, compared to when we did H2 or something like that. That was not a good time. But yeah, getting better for sure.
I want to give you a little bit of credit. By far, you have the darkest and most realistic settings in these night stages. So everyone else, they've got this high saturation, high contrast nonsense. You're there, living the real life, yeah, living the vida loca with those beautiful settings. And maybe it's not worked out well for you on that stage, but if there was realism points handed out, and we do make up the rules, but we're not going to give you them, we'd give you them.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's part of. I take a lot of pride making sure everything looks good and sounds good. Thank you.
He's also got the guns out. You just gonna put those out for look at those things. You got a license for those? You got the 20 brother. Got the 24-inch pythons, brother. I'll see you at SummerSlam.
It's hot, okay? I'm sorry.
Well, Jam, use those guns to good effect on that power stage. Try and get some points out of this one.
I will try. Thank you.
But most importantly, keep it on the road, because if you don't DNF, you're not going to finish second to last. So that's all good. Fantastic,
big brain.
Thank you. We will. I think we'll head over to actually. Oh, do we have time for more interviews?
Yeah.
Oh, people are gonna go now. It's the power stage. We should watch the power stage, right? Let's watch this. TK is gonna take us away onto the power stage here and have his last little moment in the sun here. Can he score some big points? Can he pull an upset out here, TK, or will he do some more excellent barrel rolls? It's all to play for.
I would love to see him just get a consistent stage in. And again, that sounds really like ha ha ha, but just from where he was in stage 1, where every third corner he was dropping off, and if you haven't practiced, which I'm sure he hasn't, it's really, really easy to do that, especially this being a newer rally to the game, compared to, the ones that came out with an update. So no practice, no knowledge of the stages, not a car that you're normally driving. This isn't a super, super popular class compared to Group B and WRC2. If he could just look confident out there, I think that's a win for TK. And I don't mean that as disrespectful at all. That's just a clear sign of improvement over an hour, which is not a whole lot of time of driving.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. TK has had that top 100 moment feeling. If he can get another top 100 on the power stage, I think that would make him very happy. He's got a clean bill of health after that service, so let's hope that he can do that. Look at that, he's learning from Blembar, using that bit of guttering, and missing that one. But if he can just keep it consistent, keep in the flow, and look at his face of concentration. That's fascinating how hard he is concentrating. The other person, full concentration, is Eyes Amusing, because he's not too far away from yet another win in the Creator Series in both the RaceNet and the Creator standings. We can't quite call the RaceNet standings, but who's going to go beat him at the last moment? I think Eyes Amusing. Usually he does it, as TK goes off, there goes the consistent run. But Eyes Amusing usually does his run after his commentary. So it's usually like, everyone, I feel like I've done well. Eyes Amusing comes and mops the floor. He's done that live on the broadcast here. And he's been super, super impressive, hasn't he?
Yeah, and again, that's where a lot of stage knowledge comes into play. You see him with that cut there on the left. There are places where you can cut some dirt as long as you've got some power in it. The car feels neutral. You can get away with it. And there's a lot of places you can't. So again, it's just you see him using all the road on the left or on the right there. Sorry, that's just again the difference between a really good rally driver. There's a lot of them in the Creator Series, and a great rally driver. It's just that extra little bit of confidence, that extra little bit of recce, if you will, which is why he's been towards the top of the leaderboard. He's leading the points as well in the RaceNet standings, and Lembar is in third, 100 points back. So they're in 2 different championship battles in the same series.
Yeah, we do. I think we need to add an esports band in as well. Do you know what I mean? Making things extra confusing because we have. I guess that's kind of what the RaceNet standings is, but the RaceNet is a kind of open to everyone. And, you know, the esports standings could maybe just highlight our esports stars, get more people involved that way. Because currently the creators are getting absolutely trounced by Item Music at the moment. In a different
fun,
category,
though.
good and great, as you say.
It's still fun, though, because you get to see where you stack up against literally the best. Trust me, when I was able to, like, walk my way into 3rd and 2nd places without no one really knowing what I was doing, great, good time. Is it a lot harder to swallow a P8, a P7 among the creators now? Yes, it's a little demoralizing, but iron sharpens iron. You only get better by driving against the best, and all the credit to the esports drivers that we do have in Creator Series. So helpful. They're just stoked that other people like what they like, and will be the first people. Hey, do you need setup? You heard it from Jam. You need setup help? I've got you. Do you need some help with how to drive the car? I've got you. It's not like they're keeping everything in their little box like little goblins. Like they're more than willing to help to a point, which is understandable. Which is part of the reason why it's just like real rally, right? Your main goal is against the clock, not against the other drivers. So the camaraderie there is probably the most realistic thing about what we're doing in terms of what it's like for real rally too. It's at the end of the day, we just all want to see each other do good, get better, improve, and be up against the best that there is.
Yeah, I cannot second that anymore. The WRC community, just such a fantastic feel, especially coming from the Sweat Lords over in F1. So, yeah, fantastic from the WRC community. They're all
You hear that, F1 community? You hear that?
I can slag
Be
them off.
nice!
They don't like me either. It's fine.
Give each other some hugs sometimes. Maybe a compliment, a Valentine's Day card, something.
A Valentine's Day card would be very lovely from the F1 community. I'd appreciate that greatly. But it's amusing. Here we are. He's as we talk about nonsense, he's been super focused all the way through. And just one more hairpin to navigate, and he can probably put his hands on the crown of this stage.
Yeah, really solid job. You see a little bit of a tug of the handbrake there in that last hairpin. Look at his face. He's like, oh, no. Come on, pal.
Do you think he got first? I'm not sure.
I mean, he did get beat by one of the Frenchman's drivers from VBR there on one of the stages. So, again, it's really not, I think his state at the top of the rally is not questioned, but is he? Yep, and there it is. He ends up taking out GG. I'm still there. Yes.
Yeah, but at the moment, he'd be picking up 2 points. No, 3 points.
Kamikaze, for getting how to drive. I appreciate you a lot. But there's GJ up there as well. He was towards the top of the board, so is amusing taking that spot. And really important stage power stage points in his battle with Vlembar to see who will be the #1 in the Creator Series. We only have one round left to go next week in Sweden in the snow. And hopefully we get our regular cast of characters back for that one, because that is going to be a hoot and a half.
Absolutely. TK, I think just 130th, maybe without that 13-second penalty we saw him get, would have been top 100. Jam gets into that top 100 range, just behind Renegade Extreme, who I know certainly watches the broadcast. Yeah, Riff Blondie, she's out there on the final part of this stage at the moment. We also have the likes of Kamikaze out there. Where is he up to? He was one of the first to get to this stage, and now he's one of the last to go. I never understand Kamikaze's run plan. He goes by his own beat of his own drum, but Riff Blondie just getting a little bit loose and leery there, coming up to the final part of this rally and just recovering. Again, always going in the right direction, so that's always a positive when you have a moment.
Yeah, just keep your foot in it. You know, like, those trees will grow back, maybe.
Hopefully.
But yeah, a little bit of an excursion in the environment. Just it is beautiful. It's kind of at night. Well, it's not kind of at night. It is at night. But a very beautiful scenery here. A rally I wasn't familiar with until running it. And stoked that we got a chance to kind of whip around it again as she comes around the last hairpin, crosses the line. I believe that's a 5:12. Nothing to be disappointed about.
Yeah,
And nice solid
very
finish.
decent.
Again, a couple little mistakes there, but very solid time as Kamikaze there on the right side of your screen too. Looks like he's pretty locked in, but he's still got about half the stage left to go, just under half the stage left to go. He's just such very smart car placement from Kamikaze, entering that corner a little bit earlier because he knows it opens. Something you'll hear in the pace notes as well. It's just short of a top 100 there for Rift Melody, but top 110 again when there's probably about 200 plus names on that leaderboard. No, you're in the top half.
Yeah,
Nothing
you're
to be
in good
disappointed
company
about.
there. You are really in good
Yeah.
company. Driven well, 100 doesn't sound great, but when there's so many people competing, it actually shows that you are, at least at a good class.
And again, you'll start to recognize names that are in that neighborhood a lot, and then you'll have little rivals, which is fun too. The more that you end up running in these Creator Series realities. Again, every Monday is when we end up doing the streams where these are up all week. I believe it changes tonight at some point. It's 3 a.m. Eastern time. It switches over to Sweden. So by tomorrow, you'll be able to run and put some times in. Again, it's open to everybody. We do the broadcast on Mondays, but you got all week to put a time down if that's what you want to do.
It's 7 a.m. in the morning on Tuesdays. It switches over, I believe. So if you're watching along for the first time, exclamation mark WRC in chat, you'll be able to join the race net, put some times in, and maybe ruin Isaac Musing's day after all. Who knows? But Kamikaze, he's out there. He's looking fast on this stage. No big wobbles or mistakes here, but he's fast, good enough to topple Isaac Musing. He had 3 seconds on GJ, who of course races here every other week. His week off this week. I'm sure he'll be back next week. The Portuguese driver has been very, very quick, but GJ was still not quick enough to beat Isaac Musing. Kamikaze, he'll come through. He'll through every single drop at this one because he's got really nothing to lose. He's out there for power stage points because he had those DNFs earlier on. And as he goes through this final part of the stage, can he do anything to disrupt Isaac Musing today?
And again, keep in mind, he's on rain tires, I believe. So he's still at a disadvantage. I think he said, yeah, well, I mean, if he's doing what Encephalosis was doing,
I thought it was
they used the softs already.
telling him to use the mains and then go on the softs.
So, you see it there already. He's in the low 4-minute range. It's still going to be a really good time from Kami, but I'm sure it's not going to be exactly what he was looking for, but he looks pretty proud of himself. That's the first time I think we've seen him smile all day. Is Vlembar about a minute behind. He's on the back half of this power stage, getting really good entry into that square right or square left. He's again fighting. The only one that's really in contention in terms of points to take down is Amusing. So if anybody needs to beat that time from Izza, it's the German driver from Vlembar right here, right now.
Yeah, he's a big fan, I believe, of next week's cars. We have the 17 to 21 class of the WRC cars next week around Rally Sweden. So we'll have to see what he can do anything to salvage some points back and get that championship back off of Isaac Musing. Of course, Vlembar getting the overall wins in the first season in the standings, but in the Creators, he hasn't quite been there this season so far. But here we are, final hairpin. Final moment for Vlembar. A little bit shaky out there, and I think just a little bit too slow for him on that one. Not quite enough pace there, and wonder if he didn't prioritize the power stage with his tire choices in that one.
Yeah, that might be a thing. He may have had an issue early on in the stage too. Really kind of expected something in the teens there from Vlembar, but a 4:30 is still not a bad time. But for somebody who needs to take down the best driver in the sim right now, that's not going to be what he was looking for particularly.
Yep, let's get Riff Blondie in for interview here. You were just outside the top 100 in that power stage there. Overall, of course, the RaceNet standings doesn't have the power points, but we have the integrated standings. How did you find that rally over as a whole? You're on mute, sorry. Are you unmuted? Hello? Are you muted? Hello? On Discord, you're muted, I'm saying. There
Can you hear me now?
Hello, we can hear you.
Sorry. I just said that it was the first one in the last 3 months, and it was a pretty tricky one, mostly because of tire wear. But it was very enjoyable.
Again, it's the first time we've seen you in a while. We didn't give you the nicest combination of car and rally. A lot of drivers are struggling out there. How was it for you in terms of trying to just keep a hold of these rear-wheel drive cars?
I am thankful that I did have some time to practice before actually jumping in the competition, but it was it was hard. I actually can say that these cars are one of the worst
Did you,
I've ever tried in this game.
you're not a fan of that escort, then?
No, no, I'm sorry. It might have been good back in the day, but now it's just let's keep it back there. Let's have it as a nice memory.
Well, we're doing the 1721 cars next week, so you know they're pretty recent. Any interest in picking up those next week?
Think I will be away.
Well, you can still run it. You can still put the times in.
I will do that before leaving, so they will have someone against who they can compete.
Well, it's been fantastic to have you back on a broadcast Rift, and wherever you're going next week, I hope you have a great time. Thank you very much for joining us in the booth.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
It's such a fun time every time I'm here.
Fantastic to have you. Thank you very much. Who should we go to next? Who are you wanting to speak to?
Well, I'm bummed that we couldn't talk to Musing mid-stage.
Oh, I forgot to
especially
do that,
because
didn't
I wanted to throw a turtle shell at him during the power stage. But we talked to him now.
That would
and
be very
believe it-
rude to go to a mid-stage on the power stage.
I need this, Gareth. But no surprise, top of the leaderboard as of right now by 21 seconds is Musing. How was it for you, my friend?
Difficult. Honestly, the car was trying to swap ends every single corner of every single stage, and I know it doesn't seem like that when you look at the times, but in practice it was very dicey, making quite a few mistakes, and I knew that people like Kamikaze had huge amounts of pace on this round, so I think I got away pretty lucky. I'll be honest, but I can only be satisfied with it. I entered this round to kind of just gain points in the championship and just take the safe options, try and just stay on the road, and I think that was what made it work. I went for an unusual strategy because I couldn't figure out before in practice what the top guys were doing in terms of strategy. Finally figured it out by a bold choice by my own Twitch chat, really, to take rain tires in the power stage. So yeah, it was an interesting strategy choice, but it ended up actually being the fastest one overall. So I guess I'll take the points.
Yeah, you're not the only one who's opted for the rain tire, at least in the power stage. For somebody who that sounds totally foreign and just wrong, how does that tire kind of develop over the course of that 4-minute stage?
The best way I could describe it is it turns to cheese about 5 kilometers in. You're like, oh, the grip is nice, it feels good, and then all of a sudden you get a kick of oversteer, and once that starts happening, it's kind of game over. A bit like on the Formula 1 games when your tires start overheating. Getting them to not overheat anymore, you just have to back off and lose like 10 seconds. So on a short stage like that, it was just a case of keep pushing, keep trying to control the oversteer and minimize the time loss. But wouldn't recommend for anything more than 5 kilometers on dry. For some reason, they invented dry tires for that reason. I'm not quite sure why.
Well, is it? Yeah, you came here to grow your lead in the championship, get some more points. You're currently first in both of the standings. Have you ever had an ego? Is that something that you are aware of having? You know, usually drivers have them.
No, and I try and drive for fun, I'll be honest. Every single time I try and think, you know, it sounds a bit cheesy, but I honestly really do. I try and think of the viewers and what would be fun to see. And the last thing I want to see is somebody like concentrating 100% and getting annoyed at the slightest little thing going wrong. I've seen it in the past in some tournaments. So very early on, even when I was doing esports, I was kind of like, I don't really want to be like that. I can say it's probably cost me a few wins and not having that like killer instinct, as one might call it. But overall, I think it's the better balance, really, of just being happy and enjoying the driving experience. That's why I come back to the games. That's why I come back to things like the Creator Series and other championships, is because I just love driving anything and everything. And as long as I can get behind 4 wheels at some point, that is enough for me.
You are the personification of the WRC community, Isa, and I mean that in the nicest way.
Thank you. I do my best, and I like to think that bringing lightheartedness to a rally community is always good, because it's one of the wildest forms of motorsport out there, and so to fully represent it, you have to be a bit bonkers, and thankfully I am just that.
All right, well,
yeah.
I was gonna say, man, I think Gareth, you put it best. We talked about it a little bit during the broadcast. Is that this is as somebody who's a little bit newer to the rally side of stuff, one of the most welcoming communities from the top level of drivers. Has it been really annoying that you and all your fast friends show up to ruin our good time? Yes, but there's setup help. Whenever one of us has a good stage, you or somebody else is one of the first ones to say, "Hey, great job! That was an awesome stage time." So I speak from the outside looking in. It's been a treat to have you and all the other esports drivers here to help kind of kick our butts and let us put our heads down and get faster as well. So you and the entire community, thank you.
Well, I think we can thank everybody also on the flip side, really, because sometimes the rally can be rally community can be quite closed and sort of in their own bubble, really. And I think the Creator Series has sort of broadened the horizons of not only people outside of the rally community, but also inside the rally community, that people can come in and have fun. I think one of my greatest joys, actually, in the Creator Series is seeing how the regular drivers in the series progress and improve their stage times. I have multiple people messaging me each week being proud of their results and how they've got a top 100 time for the first time. That's the joy of it. That seeing people have fun and also learning more about rally, you can't get better than that, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Isa, and I'm sure we'll be hearing from you next week. I don't know whether we'll have you. We probably can't have you in the commentary booth when you're in the fight for the championship. You're gonna have to fight out there on the stage, aren't you?
Oh, dearie me. It sounds like a mid-stage interview for the last rally then.
now we're talking. Now we're talking. We destroy your championship as commentators for putting the stick into the spokes.
Sounds like fun times to me.
Well, thank you very much, Isa. And I think we're going to round this broadcast out with the other commentator who's normally here, TK. He is, of course, here competing in the commentators round that the commentators help pick. And how have you found today, TK?
I have had so much fun. It has been absolutely chaotic from start to finish, but it's everything that you guys have said is fantastic about Rally. And I might have been off in the trees more times than I care to count, but I've had a smile on my face the entire time.
I was gonna say, you're responsible for this combination. A lot of people have had some mixed reviews of the H2 rear-wheel drives, but again, I think you kind of summarized it best. Just a fun time out there, having a good time. I know you're usually setting down stage times, not necessarily the same time as us. How was it today to be like on the schedule and have all those eyes on you?
It felt really bizarre because normally, kind of, if you have a bad stage, you have that, you can take 5-10 minutes, probably even a little bit more, to kind of sit back, reset, go again, or even kind of study what went wrong. Whereas this, you have 2-3 minutes, sometimes even kind of 30 seconds, depending on how slow I've been in certain rallies, just to go again. You've got to reset. You've got to get your mind back into that atmosphere of, right, new stage, new time. You've got to forget what happened a minute ago.
We saw you do some nice flips as well on those final few stages. We did see those.
Alone.
We appreciate them.
Leave
We
him
loved
alone.
them. One of them particularly was just, it was nearly perfect.
Was that the half barrel roll flip?
No, it was the 1.5 barrel rolls. If
Oh,
that's
yeah.
not on the Creator Series YouTube channel shorts within the next 7 days, I need you to fire your editor. That was incredible. My man turned into a missile for 9. Like you flipped for a week. Like it was incredible.
It was particularly dramatic, and especially someone in my chat, one of my mates that I've known for years, had been basically like egging me on to do a barrel roll. I was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And then that happened.
It was spectacular. It was spectacular. Usually at this point in the broadcast, we throw it over to Punju to preview next week, TK. I'm going to throw it over to you, TK, to give us a little bit of a preview next week.
Right. So next week, you lovely people head to Rally Sweden, Snow Rally to finish off the season. Of course, there's quite a few contenders to finish off and win out the championship, not only in the club, but of course the creator standings as well. It's a very technical rally. It's one that you'll see a lot of cars drifting out, and it requires a lot of concentration because there are a lot of hidden rocks as well.
Always the professional, TK. Always the professional. Thank you very much for joining the broadcast, and I don't think we'll see you next week, right? I think you're away. But
I'm celebrating another year around the sun, yes.
Well,
Unfortunately. More taxes to pay, more back pain to have,
Oh,
brother.
yes.
It's Hey.
Another year older. No, well, the absolute unit. TK, we'll let you go. Thank you very much for everything you do with the Creator Series. I'm sure we'll see you on the Creator Series broadcast very, very soon. But appreciate all you do. Thank you very much. And that's it. That's it for round 7. We have one more round to go next week, Sweden. How would you sum up today's rally today, Aero, if I can get my words out?
For a tarmac rally, it was pretty grueling. I mean, something that we kind of expected coming in. Light cars, tons of power, rear-wheel drive. It was going to catch people up that weren't paying attention. Obviously, we had some huge upsets. Kamikaze kind of bowing out early and then getting the #1 stage time on the power stage, so at least he's going to have some points. Saw some drivers that we in the middle of the field and maybe expected to have better days than they did. The escort giveth, the escort taketh away, I think was the big one here. But again, it's the kind of the way rally goes, and we saw again it was awesome to see TK kind of start off really struggling and then kind of find his rhythm there towards the end. Some people with really, really strong performances as well, though, is amusing. No surprise he's to the top of the board, but just how confident, how controlled he looked. Vlembar is going to have to throw everything in the kitchen sink at him in Sweden to kind of hope that he can steal that top step of the podium away.
Yeah, I mean, as amusing, without anything disastrous happening in Sweden, he looks like he could pick up some decent points, and that would give him what he needs. Really, he does need something really badly wrong to go, and that isn't me trying to jinx him. That's me just.
That's me trying to jinx him.
Yeah, have some of that, mate. Have some of that. But no, it's been a pleasure to work alongside you today, Aero. Where can we find you when you're not on the Creator Series broadcast?
Well, when my internet decides it wants to start working properly again, you can
Don't
find me
talk
at
to me about
twitch.tv/ yeah, fair point. You can find me at twitch.tv/airtech. I'm airtech basically on any platform. If you like sim racing, if you like rally, if you like cars, kind of a cool place to be. Follow any of our creators today. I think that's something that I wanted to say at the whole podcast is just developing friendships with everybody that we've run with on the creator side. All awesome content creators, and worth your time. If you're on Twitch right now, I think 5 of them at least are still live. Izza's live, Jam's live, Encephalosis is live, Rift Blondie's live. Go show them some support because they're all wonderful people on camera and off.
Absolutely, great plug. And yeah, I'm Gareth Allen TV. You can find me on all the social
I
media
guess so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm him. It's fine. Follow me on X. It's honestly, since that bloody person bought Twitter, all you get is follows from bots nowadays, which is hilarious because he almost didn't buy the platform because of bots. But go and be a normal person to follow me on there. We also have the Creator Series socials up above. If you're not following us on Twitch or YouTube already, drop a subscribe. We have the F1 event returning for Season 8 later on this week, F2 on the Friday, F1 on the Saturday, and we will be back for the final round of Season 3 of the Creator Series Club next week, sponsored by EA Sports, of course. Thank you very much for EA Sports for all the support you give us on this side. And thank you very much. We will see you next week. Thank you very much.